about sales and distribution in the beverage industry and how we can help you sell your beverages immediately. My name is Jorge Olson. I'm the author of Build Your Beverage Empire, The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion, and a couple of other books that are coming out this year. I'm working on another book, Wholesale MBA, and other books that you will be able to see also next year. A lot of you already know me. You've been subscribing to my newsletters, personal or otherwise, for many years, some of you for up to 5 or more years. A lot of you already spoke with me. Some of you already spoke with one of our sales project managers or some of the other project managers. At any time when you want to start any of the sales programs, distribution programs, brokering programs, wholesaler programs, retail sales programs, please call your project manager. That's the best way to start, because your project manager will make all of this information relevant just for you and your product. There's too many people right now on the call, and we cannot just take on all of your case studies. But when you call the office, we do the same presentation after we kickstart your project, but we do it just for your product so that we find out exactly where you need to be. Again, this is a general overview of sales and distribution of beverages, but if you want it for your product, you have to speak with your project manager so we can arrange a call or a meeting and then go over your product, the needs for your product, where you want to sell it, what channel you want to use, etc. And we'll cover all of that today. Now, quickly, just so you know, my experience in the industry, I started as a wholesale distributor. Now, before I was a wholesale distributor, I was also a consultant for the food industry, or the process manufacturing industry, to be specific. This includes food, beverages, beverage development, food development, sales, distribution, everything that goes into the process of the industry. Then I had my own distribution company, and I sold with my own trucks to a lot of stores in different cities. I also sold to distributors, and I trained distributors on how to sell products, my products and other products. I developed with my team a lot of different products over the last 10, 11 years in different companies, and I've worked for Fortune companies, helping them with their projects, with their sales, with their distribution, and a lot of startups. Now today, we're going to go over some sample products. Now, when we have this call one-on-one, we go over one product, which is your product, and we only talk about your product and how to use your product in the industry. We're also going to mention how we work. We're going to go over how you can sell more of your product, and a sales plan. When you speak with us, when you hang up the phone after the first call, you have a sales plan for your brand, and that's important to you. One of the top mistakes that I see in the industry with both startups and companies that have been in the industry for a while is they think they know their target market, they think they know how they want to get the product to market, but they really don't, because they're not looking at it from their distributor's point of view. If you say, I want to go through Budweiser or Miller Coors, you may think that's what you want, but you don't know their requirements. So once you get off the first kick-up call with us, you'll know the requirements for every type of distributor, for every type of wholesaler, retailer, and then together we can decide who is best for you. What is your target market? Where do you want to start and where you want to finish? Because maybe you want to start with the natural channel, but maybe you want to finish with mainstream beverage distribution through beer distributors. That's one of the expectations that you have to manage going in. That's one of the key aspects of your business. Maybe you're in the right channel, maybe you're not. We have to explore it. How do you sell more products? After you identify the channel that you want to target, the formula is very easy and it's basic. once we know who to target, let's say that we're targeting AAA distributors, Budweiser, Miller distributors, Miller Coors distributors only. You say, that's my target market. I have enough money to support them. I have enough money for advertising in their territory. I have enough money to hire somebody who can go and open stores, do ride-alongs, etc. Then we need to find the right ones, either by territory or by retail style, because maybe you already sell at certain retail stores or retail chains that we can leverage in order to get that distributor. But also something very, very important. It takes anywhere to from 12 to 15 touches to close a sale in the beverage industry. Let me repeat that. Normally it's 8 to 12. That's the industry standard. That's a sales standard. It's a standard number across sales. A minimum of 8, and it's always between 8 and 12. Now, this can be to sell a very low-priced item. It doesn't include retailers, by the way, because sometimes retailers can be open with the first visit. But I'm talking about a relationship sale. I'm talking about a distributor taking on your product and signing a contract. I'm not talking about selling a few cases to a distributor. I'm talking about signing a contract, protecting territories with or through a distributor. A lot of times we work with CEOs or entrepreneurs or even large companies that tell me, Jorge, I'm speaking with a distributor, or 5 or 10, let's say it's 10 distributors. They tell me they like it, but I've spoken with each person 5 times. And between calls, emails, I've had more than 10 or 15 touches or methods of communication with them. But let's focus on just phone calls for a second. Let's say that you have 10 distributors that are A candidates, they're A leads. That means they are interested in your product, 10 of them, 10 distributors. Maybe you have to call 100 to get those 10. But let's say that you have 10. Okay, so you have those 10. Now what are we going to do? CEOs tell me they're calling them. They spoke with them 5 times, but maybe they called them 15 times in order to get them on the phone 5 times. And they say, Jorge, that means I've spoken 50 times. That's 50 phone calls with 5 different distributors. 50 phone calls out of 150 times that I called. I actually spoke with them 50 times. They say, I don't have time to speak with them 50 times and make 150 phone calls. And these are the qualified ones. These are the ones that already said, yes, I want samples. Yes, I want to go over your product. And I tell them, that's the nature of the business. If you're doing that, you're doing it right. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing everything exactly the way you have to and exactly the way they are expecting you to. And they say, well, how many more calls do I have to make before I close at least one? And I tell them the average number of calls, not calls, but communication where you actually speak with them, so a voice note doesn't count. In the beverage industry, according to our experience, calling hundreds of distributors is 15 times. You have to speak with them 15 times. That means that particular person needs to speak with 150, needs to speak with the prospect 150 times. That's probably about 400 calls, because a lot of them are voicemails, and you cannot wait for them to return your call. And that's another thing people tell me. I asked them, did you call? I introduced them to a distributor. The distributor was interested. I tell them, did you call them? Oh yeah, I left a voicemail last week, and I'm waiting for the phone to ring. So you're waiting for the call back. I tell them, okay, we have a problem here. If you want to sell, you need to call. You don't call once. You call until you get the person on the phone. No, but I already called him. If he doesn't want the product, that's fine. If he wants the product, he's going to call me back. No, that's not the way it works. You have to call, to get one party interested of these 10 that you have, you have to call and speak with them 150 times. That's the rule. And a lot of them tell me, a lot of CEOs tell me, well, I need to hire a staff. And I say, no, you can do it. You can make these calls. It's not a big deal. I don't want to. I didn't get into the beverage industry to be a telemarketer or to be a salesperson. I want to be a CEO. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear entrepreneurs saying that they want to be a CEO, not a designer or a merchandiser or a promoter, a CEO. So then they can either hire a staff, a sales staff, so maybe a sales manager and 2 or 3 salespeople, or they can work with us. What are the advantages or disadvantages? Well, we're going to go over all of those. Okay. What are the distribution channels? Let's go over the different distribution channels in the beverage industry. This is you to the left, the manufacturer, and this is your target. In this case, retailer. So under the first line, you have a direct sale. You, the manufacturer, sold directly to the distributor. To the retailer. This is this is very likely that you're using warehouse programs, either your own distribution with your own trucks or warehouse programs. So this is one way. The next way of selling is through a broker. Now you're still selling warehouse program to the broker. To do this, of course, you might have to pay slotting. You might have to incur other expenses. Let's say that slotting is cheap, only $50. So you want 1,000 supermarkets. Well, it's $50,000 just to play. If you don't sell, if the product doesn't sell, you're out. So you better have some advertising behind it. Let's say that you are selling to supermarket and convenience stores. Then it's very likely that you need distributors. I recommend direct store delivery distributors, like beverage distributors or other type of direct store delivery distributors. And by the way, all of this is covered in my book, Build Your Beverage Empire. If you're in the industry, you need to read it. Other ways of selling to convenience are through wholesalers or consolidators that sell to distributors. And this is especially true if you have smaller packages, like a beverage shot, something like this, vitamins or other things, like a 5-hour energy style. And you can also put the broker in the middle, and that's often the case. So that's an overview. Now let's talk a little bit about how we put in place. And by the way, we're going to touch on the different ways that you can get your product to the store as well, even alternative ways. But what have we learned? Because we've sold our own products, we've sold other people's products, we've developed products and sold them. We've sold by telephone, we've used telemarketing, we've used our own team, we've traveled all over the U.S. to open stores, we've sat down with distributors to see what motivates them, with brokers, with retailers. What have we learned? What did we build? Well, what we did is, number one, what we built took 10 years, going on 11, this is our 11th year of being in the industry. And we worked and built several companies in those 10 years. We've talked to more than 50,000 stores, 50,000 stores. We used to do a lot of calls, especially on the phone. Now, we've traveled also and spoken with them in person and then on ride-alongs with distributors representing our brands. But we've also talked to them on the phone because we have a lot of people on the phone calling stores. So we visited more than 5,000 stores. Our team has visited more than 5,000 stores to open the stores for a particular product, but of course we have a conversation with them to see what motivates them, to see what products they want, what products they don't want. If we have subscribers and have spoken with a lot of brokers, a lot of different brokers, professional broker companies, independent brokers, every kind of broker that you can imagine. And we spent a lot of money. We spent more than $2 million over the last 10 years learning how to do this, experimenting, hiring different types of people, doing everything that we can to learn how to do this. We've used different types of software systems. We've used different types of direct marketing. We've used different types of mailers, different types of point-of-sale material, different approaches. We've partnered with distributors. We've sold to distributors. We've created products for distributors. We've created private label products for retailers. So a lot of it has gone into it, not just know-how, but dollars as well. Now, my point here for you is to save this money. You can build the same. This is not rocket science. It's just making a lot of mistakes. You can build the same sales team that we have. I'm absolutely positively certain that you can. And also that it's going to cost you this amount of money and this amount of time. What do you get when you work with us? You get what you need depending on where you are right now. If you are a large company, a medium company, or a small company with you where you are, then you get retailers. Maybe right now you need distributors. Maybe right now you need chains. Maybe you don't know, and you need to find out before you can dollars. Once we find out what you need, once we find out who your prospects are, who, let's say that we ask you who are your 100 dream customers. Together we analyze and we get to the 100 dream customers, and then we devise a strategy to contact them. And that starts with a phone call. But then it's dependent on your media kit as well, depending on what they want to see. And we do something different. We contact these distributors in a way that nobody else does. Because remember, these distributors are getting approximately 10 new beverages per week. Now remember something, we get 50 new beverages per week calling us. Now imagine how many a distributor is getting, at least 10 samples, everything. What's the difference? Well, you'll see when you work with us, because we get through. So even if you are trying to use some of this methodology, you are going to be one of those 10. Now, we've been working with these distributors for 10 years. They pick up the phone when we call. They know that our packages are done the right way. They know that we did our research, and they know that we're targeting the right distributor. This is why they pick up the phone from us. So let's say that you give us your 100 dream customers. We developed a strategy to target those 100 dream customers. And the key here is that when we're done with the strategy, you're going to have work for at least a year. That's our target. Just with this one campaign that we do, you're going to be busy the whole year selling to these people until you're ready to sell to the next batch, or to expand your territory, or to do whatever you need to do, depending on where you are, where your funding is, where you are geographically, etc. What goes into this? Well, everything that you see here. It's database management, sales management, it's know-how. It's developing a media kit, a distribution kit, a retail kit. And we've sold and worked with many different companies over the last 10 years. Vitamin companies, shop companies, beer companies, alcohol companies, you name it. We've developed also a lot of different products, not only sold a lot of different products. But what is it? Because when you work with us, you're going to have a dedicated project manager, and they're going to be in contact with you every week. You're going to have access to our proprietary software for project management, to see your leads, to see your contacts. But there are things that you will not see because they're in the background. They're part of the investment that we've made. They're part of our best practices. You won't see Then you have a vice president of sales and marketing working for you, that if you had to pay for it yourself, you would be out probably $15,000 for the VP of sales and $10,000 to $12,000 for the VP of marketing per month. You see a customized CRM system, a sales software system that we developed in-house, that we started developing 10 years ago, where we have all of our databases, where we have all of the people that we've contacted. We have what they want, what they need, what they carry, what they don't carry, how they want to be sold, how much money they want you to have before calling them, how much support they want. Of course, trained salespeople, not just trained salespeople that know how to sell, but that have been in the stores, in the trucks, in the warehouses, speaking with distributors, speaking with wholesalers, speaking with brokers. They've been a broker. They've been a distributor. That's the type of people here. Well, the point is, if you hire a staff, it's not the same as if you work with our staff, because our staff is proven and trained, so you don't have to go through the pain of that. We have relationships, of course, that I mentioned with the market. We have our own brand managers. They will manage your brand. And of course, we go to all the trade shows in the U.S. and in Mexico. If you want to go to a trade show with us, let us know. Let us know which one in the U.S. and in Mexico, and then you can go. Sometimes we have appointments with buyers, distributors, and wholesalers. And if you go with us, you'll have access to those appointments. We'll bring you to them, or we'll let them know in advance that you're coming. Now, what would it cost you to build your own team? And that's a good alternative also. If you're there, yes, I recommend that you build your own team. If you have the desire to do that, absolutely. And you'll probably need, a couple of these brand manager, salespeople, just about the same that we have. And what are you going to spend? Well, you're going to spend, or your burn rate is going to be around $70,000 per month. Now, this doesn't mean that they know what they're doing or that they're proven. It just means that you can hire them and they can start working. So then you can start training them, and after you train them, then they'll start selling your product. And that's one of the alternatives. Now, remember, there's your product, and you want to sell either jobbers, maybe to beverage distributors, maybe to wholesalers and consolidators, right? So these are the McLean, the Cormark, these are the beer distributors, the Miller Coors, Budweiser style distributors, and these are the independents and wagon jobbers. And a lot of good companies have started selling with wagon jobbers. Let's say that you want to do something first. You might use the phone, maybe billboards or magazines, maybe use trade shows. And this is just to give you an idea of the expense of marketing to these channels. We already covered selling to these channels. Let's talk about marketing, because we handle the marketing to these accounts as well. Direct marketing mostly, where we put you in contact, if that's what you want, with the right decision maker. So how much would it cost you if you're not working with us? Well, it's very simple. If you do a telemarketing campaign, let's say that you're paying fully loaded $50,000 per person per year, fully loaded, depending on the state, of course, it's $150,000. Let's say that you do some magazine ads in trade magazines. Let's say that they are extremely cheap. By the way, they're not this cheap, but let's just use this example. Well, that's $10,000 per month, so you're out $120,000 in advertising in a magazine. Now, in our experience, magazine advertising will give you maybe 1 or 2 leads per month. Trade shows. A trade show is, and this is, you might think this is unobtainable, but yes, you could do a trade show for $15,000 if you really try. Maybe just one person goes to the show, you get a small booth, you don't get the upgrades, etc. $15,000, so maybe $60,000 if you go to 4 shows. What are trade shows going to get you? The average trade show gets you 6 leads. We contact the equivalent of everybody that you're going to target through these activities in 1 month. That's where you can get an idea of how many people can get your message. So if you want to test a new message, instead of going to a trade show and spending $15,000 or advertising for a quarter and spending $30,000, we'll test it. And we can start giving you results of your test in 1 week. This can be on the phone. It can be through direct mail. It can be with a media kit. It can be however we decide your target market wants to be reached. Again, if you do this on your own, the sales part, you're going to spend a lot of money. To build a team in the beverage industry, it's about $70,000 to get started per month. This is your burn rate day 1, but you're not selling day 1. You're not marketing day 1. You don't have prospects, leads day 1. When you work with us, you'll have them day 1. How does a program work? Well, it's very simple. You speak with your project manager. If you don't have one, call us and we'll assign you one. But more than if you're on the call, it's very likely that you already spoke with somebody. If not, just call us and speak with your project manager. If you're not ready for sales, but you're in the development phase, it's a completely different project manager. It's not the sales project manager, it's a beverage development project manager. So if you're there, speak with our beverage development project manager. And we have full service product development and beverage development, formulation, strategy, pricing strategy, artwork, research, everything. So call us if you're at that stage. If you're in the sales stage, call your project manager. Get on a call with one of our senior project managers as well, or our vice president of sales, so that you can get into the industry, so that you can know the options that you have depending on your needs. Everybody's different. Everybody's at a different place at the moment, different funding, different customers, different stores. What we want is to tailor something for you depending on where you are. And for that, you need some knowledge. We need to give you some knowledge of what the market wants from you. Once you know what the market wants from you and if you can deliver, that means we already picked the channel. Once we pick the channel, we start the process that we talked about, where we start contacting. Let's say that we start with the 100 perfect clients for you. When we start with them, maybe there's chains, maybe they're distributors, maybe they're brokers, maybe it's the natural channel. The investment will depend on your channel. There's an investment, there's a fee that you pay working with us, plus a broker or commission fee. But also you need investment to support your channel. Every channel is different. So once we find out what your channel is or what your goals are, then you'll know how much money you have to allocate to those distributors, to those retailers, or to your target market. Now, how do we make money? We make money from commission of sales, and then we make money from the monthly that you pay us for working with us and handling either your sales or your market. Now, it's very simple to work with us. We find your target market, we contact them, and again and again and again and again. And a lot of clients tell us that just that part alone, just getting that constant on top of mind from your distributors, that's from life. Just getting those 300, 400, 500, 600 calls per month to stay on top of their leads and their distributors. They say that's enough. But we know that if you're starting, that's not enough. You need knowledge. You need a lot of more information. Once we get through the process of going after your perfect clients, then you have to work with us in spending the majority of their time with the qualified AAA leads, the ones that are negotiating, the ones that want your product or a product similar, and they're going to buy from you or from somebody else because they have a hole in their portfolio. That's where you come along and help us, because we cannot sign a contract for you. We cannot negotiate a contract for you. You have to do it. So that's where we need you, or your salesperson or your sales director. And then you keep selling to them over and over and over again, because that's the game in the beverage industry, right? You need turns. So once we get the account, then we need to make sure that we keep the account. Otherwise, it's a lot of work for nothing, right? The worst thing that can happen to you is you get a distributor, you get 1,000 accounts in their territory, and then they say you're not performing, or your product is not performing, or you're not well funded, or you dropped the ball, or something happened. I've seen it many, many times. We have to make sure that we have a support strategy in place. And we had a webinar a couple of months back that talks about exactly that. Are you ready for retail? And we had some people ask for it again, so we'll soon give it again. Are you ready for retail? What that means is you have what it takes to get turned in the store. What are the next steps? If you want to start working with us, if you're ready to start with your sales and or marketing program, follow the information that your project manager gave you through the link, or simply call them back and tell them that you want to get started. What's going to happen? What's going to happen after you get started is we're going to have a kickoff call. The sales VP is going to be in that kickoff call. We're going to determine what is the best market for you, and then we're going to execute. That call is very important, because this is where you build or rebuild your sales plan, your sales and marketing plan, in our kickoff call. And by the way, we sell that call just by itself, and it's expensive, because a lot of people want just that strategy call, we call it. We get a lot of entrepreneurs calling us just to have that strategy call with part of my team. And that's included in every one of these packages at no extra cost. And this is where you determine your sales and marketing plan for the next quarter or next year. After we all agree, then we start executing that plan, either through brokers, through distributors, through wholesalers, etc. So what do you need to do? Call your project manager, start the conversation. We'll prepare a document for you to make sure that we are on the same page and that you're getting what you need. And then we get started. We get on the kickoff call, the strategy call. We create the plan, and then we execute it. And for the next steps, if you haven't, most probably you already did. That's why you're in this call. But if you have not, call the office, speak with your project manager, and I will see you or speak with you. By the way, it can be in person as well, but the kickoff strategy call, get together with you after you're ready for that call. So I can't wait to start the project with you guys. Thank you very much for your time. If you have additional questions, you can get them to your project manager. They're very knowledgeable, and they manage the actual project for you. They'll be on the phone every week with you. They'll tell you where we are, what we're doing, what the distributors are saying, what they want. If they want to speak with you, if you need to get on a plane and go see them, etc. So your project managers are the front line. Treat them well. All right, thank you very much. I know your time is valuable, and I'm very happy that you decided to spend it with me. And I will see you in the strategy call. Bye for now.